Landing your first paying client can feel like the hardest step in your filmmaking career, but it doesn't have to be. In this video, I want to cover the exact steps you need to take to secure your very first paid client. And this will work whether you're just starting out and have very little to no experience, or you're someone who's a little more seasoned but just can't seem to get consistent work. So I'm gonna leave you with some actionable advice you can start taking today to start landing that very first client. So let's get started. If you watch nothing else beyond this point, just know you need 2 steps to land a client. 1, have proof you can actually make quality videos, and 2, find people who need your help with videos. That's the basic strategy you'll need to actually land work. But if you want a detailed breakdown, then stick around. Let's start with having proof. So the first thing you really want to do is actually have a portfolio of work that you can share with potential clients. Now, this may seem like a bit of a catch-22 situation because how can you show work to a potential client without having a first potential client? And that's why you really need to start by just shooting anything. And in fact, if you can, shoot a type of spec project. And all a spec project is a project that you're not necessarily getting paid for, but showcases your abilities as a filmmaker. So depending on the type of work you want to land, you'll want to make a spec project that speaks directly to that type of work. So, easy example. If you want to get into the real estate video work, then you need to have a spec project that shows a real estate video tour. Or if you want to get into product videography, then you would have a spec project where you shoot some sort of product video in your own home. Whatever the case is, you need to have proof. And so just go out and shoot a project even if you're not necessarily getting paid. Now that you have some work that you can show potential clients, you're going to need some place to put it. And that's where a website or a video hosting platform comes in handy. The reason I'd recommend going with a website is that a website shows you're someone who's serious and takes their craft professionally, is not just some sort of hobbyist that is just postings on Instagram. There's a ton of options out there. Definitely choose the one that's best for you. I know a lot of people use Squarespace, myself included, but then you'll also want to consider where is the video being hosted. So this is things like Vimeo and YouTube. I really like Vimeo because it retains the video quality and there's no ads on those videos, whereas when you post something on YouTube for your portfolio, unfortunately, if your client doesn't have YouTube Premium, which most people don't, unfortunately, I'm the crazy one, I guess. Whenever they click on your video to watch the example work, they're going to be met with an ad at the beginning, and that could be annoying and also set them off, and maybe they click out from your reel. So definitely consider using Vimeo, or you upload a compressed version to your Squarespace website, although obviously you're going to lose a little bit of quality, but it should still get the point across to your clients. Bonus tip here, if you do have a website with a domain, you definitely want to attach your email address to that domain. So, for example, when you actually contact me, I set it up so that it's my first name, Bruno, at Pozo Production, which is my production company. This is one of those very subtle but powerful techniques you can implement to make yourself seem more professional. I mean, just think about it from the client's perspective, right? If they get an email from bruno@gmail.com asking for a video service that's going to cost a few $1,000s, it doesn't seem quite as credible or as compelling as when it's Bruno at Pozo Production, which sounds more professional. This person's a serious person and is probably worth the money because they've actually invested in a domain and has a website. And all these little client perceptions do add up and make it a lot easier to trust you and hire you for work in the future. All right, now that we covered how to have proof, let's go over to how to actually land and find clients. And so the first thing I'd recommend here is to take advantage of the network you already have. Surely you probably have some friends or family members who own a business who you can shoot some sort of small project for. Even if it is for a little bit of money, it can be valuable first learning experience, and they can give you some feedback about what was good about it and what went wrong. It's a very safe way to get started, and because this is your network that you're already acquainted with, it's a lot warmer, the leads, and it's a lot easier to say yes to you because they already know and hopefully like you. Just remember that when you do go for an ask like this, you want to frame it in the perspective of the business owner. So how can you help them? I find way too often that people write their emails or DMs in a way that is all about them.
Hi, I'm a videographer. I run a video production company. I would like to make videos for you. Would you like to talk to me?
It's very me and I's focused. Instead, what you really want to do is think about them and their needs. Hey, I saw your website hadn't any videos on it, so I thought maybe you would like a brand video. Would that be something that interests you? I've noticed that your social media page doesn't have many videos. Is video a part of your strategy that you want to implement? And you also want to be very upfront about your experience. If you are a beginner and you don't really have a great portfolio or just a few pieces that we previously made, then mention that to them. And mention that you can do it for a very low rate for the first time since they are taking a risk on you. And remember, always be polite in your communications. Don't get mad when someone doesn't respond. Don't get upset if they say no. Take it gracefully and move on to the next person. Now we can talk about reaching outside of your network. And this is where you're going to start actually attending networking events or local events in your area. At the end of the day, clients are going to come to you. You're going to have to go to them. So attending these events is an easy way to get in front of your ideal customer. So depending on the niche you want to go after, these events can look different, but I generally like going to networking events. I like to attend Chamber of Commerce events in my city, and then of course industry related events. So if there's a sporting event, go to that if that's your niche. If there's a real estate event, go to that if that's your niche, and so on. You can find these events typically on like Facebook or like the local newspaper event page. Sometimes the city has them. And then I've also found LinkedIn to be very useful for finding networking events that are local. At these networking events, you're not trying to sell people in the very first meeting. This is literally just to form connections and expand your network. And what I found to be really helpful is to be interested in others rather than trying to be interesting. So actually genuinely have an interest in the person you're talking to. Unfortunately, most people are attention starved, so whenever someone gives them their full attention and is genuinely interested, it can mean a lot to them and you'll stand out from everyone else. And don't feel like you have to meet every single person at that networking event. I found that actually leaving with maybe 1 or 2 meaningful connections is a lot more fruitful than trying to have a bunch of very small connections with a lot of people. A pro tip here is to actually find connectors. I don't know another name for these sorts of people. And an easy example of this is event planners and wedding planners, right? This is someone who works with a bunch of vendors, is used to having a long list of people that they can recommend and offer services to their clients. Another one that's really good to go after is a marketing manager. But if you can get in with these people, do your best to. Once again, don't try to be fake or anything, do it genuinely. But that's just one of the easy ways you can get really attached really quickly in the community that you're trying to network in. And a bonus tip here is you should bring your camera and capture some content while you're there, whether that's photos and videos or just video. It's an easy way to sort of get some free content, get some practice in, and you can share that content with the people you spoke to. And that's also a little bit of a proof, gets a little warm interaction with them, and they'll remember you a lot more. In fact, in my local networking communities, I'm always there with my camera capturing content, and people have told me they recognize me as the camera guy whenever I'm at a networking event. And so that's just one way you can stand out and help attract leads and make sure that people know exactly what it is that you do and how you can help them. If you continue to do this, I guarantee you someone's going to reach out to you, or eventually when you do reach out, someone will say yes to hiring you to do their video work. So congratulations to you. It's definitely not easy, any of these steps, and it's going to take some time. But if you do follow this framework, I can almost guarantee you'll have a paid client in no time. Just remember to always be a pleasure to work with, and whenever possible, under-promise and over-deliver. That way the client will always leave delighted from interacting with you. Now, if you want to have a long, successful career as a filmmaker, then check out this video here where I cover the 7 habits and mindsets you need to be successful in this industry. Did you have any other questions about landing your first paid job? Leave them in the comment section below and I'll be sure to answer them. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. I appreciate every single one of you who do. I'm wishing you luck on your job hunt, and I know you can do it. Peace.